Let me ask you something. When someone disrespects you, lies about you, or tries to push your buttons, what do? Do you fire back with anger, or do you hold your ground with silence? Because here's the truth: the person who stays calm, the person who stays silent, always holds the real power. In a world full of noise, opinions, and fake confidence, silence has become the ultimate sign of control. People think silence means weakness. They think you're avoiding the fight. They think you're scared. But they have no idea. Your silence is strength. Your silence is discipline. Your silence is a message that says, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the foundation of true respect. When you no longer chase validation, when you no longer argue to be understood, when you no longer let emotions rule your mouth, that's when you rise above. Because silence demands respect. It's not something you ask for. It's something you command through calmness, through restraint, through your presence. You stop being reactive. You start being intentional. You become a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. So from this moment on, stop explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds. Stop defending your worth to those who will never see it. Stop wasting words on those who don't deserve your energy. Your silence speaks volumes. Your calmness is your crown. And before we go further, I want you to anchor this mindset right now. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence commands respect. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Silence shows control, not weakness. When you stay silent, you're not giving up. You're taking charge. Anyone can yell, anyone can react, but not everyone can control themselves. The moment you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. The person who can stay calm in the middle of chaos is the one who leads. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you hold your tongue, you're not letting people walk over you. You're mastering your emotions. You're showing that your energy isn't for sale. You're proving that your peace is more valuable than being right. Let's be real. Most people talk too much because they're afraid of silence. They use noise to hide insecurity. They think shouting gives them strength. But silence exposes truth. It makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to face themselves. And that's exactly why silence demands respect. The next time someone tries to provoke you, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time it's not. You don't win arguments by being louder. You win by being wiser. Your calmness becomes your authority. Your silence becomes your answer. Remember this. Self-control is not silence out of fear. It's silence out of power. When you stop reacting, you become unpredictable. When you're unpredictable, people can't manipulate you. And when no one can manipulate you, you become unshakable. Number 2, silence exposes who people really are. Silence is the mirror that reveals truth. When you stop talking, when you stop explaining, people start to show their real intentions. Your silence becomes a test, and only the genuine ones will pass it. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with himself." That means you don't need to prove, chase, or beg for understanding. When you stay silent, you see who can handle your calmness and who crumbles without your reaction. You'll notice something powerful. The ones who can't stand your silence are the ones who were feeding off your energy. People reveal themselves when you go quiet. The ones who were fake will start to panic. The ones who respect you will step back and understand. and the ones who only wanted your attention will disappear. Your silence makes the truth come out without a single word. Stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening. Stop trying to change people who enjoy misunderstanding you. Your silence cuts deeper than any argument ever could. It says, "I've outgrown this." It says, "You no longer control my peace." That's power. That's maturity. That's respect earned through restraint. When someone disrespects you or twists your words, don't respond right away. Walk away. Let the silence do the talking. In a few hours, a few days, the truth always rises to the surface. Your reaction only feeds their ego. Your silence starves it. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I don't chase validation. Number 3, silence builds mental strength. Real strength isn't shown through arguments, shouting, or trying to have the last word. Real strength is built in silence. It's built in the moments when you want to react, when you want to prove your point, when you want to clap back. But you don't. You breathe. You observe. You stay calm. That's not weakness. That's power. When you can control your emotions, you control your mind. And when you control your mind, nothing and no one can break you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people live backwards. They try to control the world, but never control themselves. They react to every insult, every rumor, every disappointment. They let emotions drive the wheel, and then they crash. But silence is the discipline that builds your armor. It's the mental workout that keeps you sharp, focused, and emotionally bulletproof. Every time you hold your peace instead of reacting, you're training your mind to be stronger than your emotions. Every time you stay silent when someone disrespects you, you're proving that your self-worth doesn't depend on approval or attention. That's how warriors think. They choose their battles wisely. They don't waste energy on the unworthy. Silence builds patience, and patience builds power. You learn to wait for the right time to act. You learn to see through noise. You learn that not every situation deserves your words. Not every attack deserves your energy. The more you practice this, the more mentally tough you become. Your silence becomes your edge. People who talk too much reveal themselves. People who stay silent study everything. You can't play chess if you're busy talking. You win by observing. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's wisdom. Silence gives you perspective. It gives you time to process truth, not react to lies. It gives you space to see people's motives clearly. And once you master that, you become untouchable. You stop getting drained by arguments. You stop losing sleep over nonsense. And you stop chasing validation. Your silence becomes a wall that protects your peace. And behind that wall, your mind grows stronger, sharper, and calmer. That is true mental power. Calm, confident, controlled. Number 4, silence teaches you self-respect. There comes a point when you realize that explaining yourself, defending yourself, or begging to be understood is beneath your worth. Silence is the highest form of self-respect because it says, "I value my peace more than your approval." When you choose silence, you're not ignoring anyone, you're honoring yourself. You're choosing not to waste your voice where it won't be heard. You're deciding that your energy, your words, and your emotions deserve to be protected. Most people give their power away through endless explanations, trying to justify their actions, trying to fix what others think about them. But when you fall silent, you stand tall. You tell the world that your worth is not up for discussion. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That means stop talking about your character. Show it through your silence, your actions, and your calmness. Real self-respect doesn't scream for validation. It moves in quiet confidence. When you choose silence, you are no longer chasing attention. You're commanding respect through presence. People who truly respect you will understand you're quiet. Those who don't will try to provoke you, but your silence will frustrate them because it shows they no longer have power over you. Self-respect grows stronger every time you refuse to react to nonsense. It grows every time you walk away from arguments that lead nowhere. It grows every time you remind yourself that not everyone deserves access to your mind. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Silence helps you filter who those people are. You see clearly who values your peace and who feeds on your reaction. When you stay quiet, you learn that not every confrontation needs closure, not every lie needs correction, not every insult needs a reply. You learn to trust your dignity more than your anger. Silence becomes the voice of your boundaries. It says, "I am not available for disrespect." You start to understand that your energy is your currency, and wasting it on the wrong people is emotional poverty. When you master silence, you rise above the noise. You no longer fight for recognition because your calmness already commands it. Your silence says everything. I respect myself too much to engage in chaos. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I honor my silence. Number 5. Silence creates inner clarity. When life gets loud, when people pull you in every direction, and when your mind feels crowded with noise, silence becomes your sanctuary. It is in silence that you finally hear your own thoughts. It's where you reconnect with your truth, your values, and your direction. Most people can't sit quietly because silence exposes what they're running from. But the wise embrace it because that's where clarity lives. When you stop speaking, your mind begins to settle. The chaos fades, and what matters most rises to the surface. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That is what silence gives you, a return to yourself. You stop listening to gossip, comparison, and distractions, and you start listening to your own intuition. Every time you stay silent instead of reacting, you create space between impulse and decision. That space is where wisdom is born. It's where you make choices not from emotion, but from awareness. The world constantly demands your attention, and that demand is designed to scatter your focus. But when you embrace silence, you reclaim your attention and direct it toward growth. You begin to see what is truly important and what is simply noise. People who live without silence live without direction. They chase approval, chase trends, chase opinions, and lose themselves in the process. But silence keeps you centered. It allows you to move with precision instead of panic. It helps you see through illusions and fake people because you're no longer reacting, you're observing. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom is built through reflection, and reflection requires stillness. Your silence is where you gain the perspective to handle situations with maturity. When you quiet the noise, you stop being ruled by chaos. You become deliberate in your words, intentional in your actions, and calm in your presence. Silence gives you insight that loud people will never find because they're too busy talking to listen. In your silence, ideas grow, understanding deepens, and peace expands. Every moment of quiet strengthens your mental clarity, refines your decisions, and grounds your emotions. When you walk in silence, you walk with vision. You stop reacting blindly and start living purposefully. Number 6. Silence builds unbreakable confidence. Confidence is not loud. Confidence does not need to announce itself or seek validation. True confidence lives in silence. It's the quiet knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. When you stay silent, you give yourself space to think before you speak, to act with intention instead of impulse. You stop seeking reactions and start choosing results. People often mistake arrogance for confidence, but arrogance is noise. It's insecurity disguised as power. Silence is the opposite. Silence is the confidence that doesn't need attention. When you can walk away without saying a word, that's confidence. When you can be misunderstood and stay calm, that's confidence. When you can stand in your truth and not care who doubts you, that's confidence. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That is the essence of silent confidence. You no longer explain yourself to those who cannot understand you. You stop shrinking to fit expectations, and you stop wasting energy trying to prove what you already know. Confidence built in silence is unshakable because it's not dependent on praise. It's rooted in self-trust. Every time you stay silent and keep moving, you're teaching yourself that you are enough. You no longer need to shout to be seen. You no longer need to beg to be respected. Your actions speak louder than words ever could. Confidence that comes from inner silence radiates differently. People feel it without you saying a thing. They sense your certainty, your control, your self-respect. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When your thoughts are peaceful, your confidence grows naturally. You don't need to chase recognition because your peace already validates you. Silence becomes your armor, your anchor, your power source. It keeps you focused while others seek attention. It keeps you humble while others perform. It keeps you balanced while others chase chaos. The more you trust your inner stillness, the more confident you become in your abilities, your worth, and your direction. Silence gives you the courage to stand alone and the strength to stand tall. You realize that you don't need to respond to be powerful. You just need to stay centered in who you are. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I move with quiet confidence. Number 7. Silence makes you unpredictable and powerful. When you speak less, people can't read your next move. When you reveal nothing, no one can use your words against you. Silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is a form of power. The moment others can't guess what you'll do, they lose control over you. They start to question themselves, overthink their actions, and expose their weaknesses trying to understand you. That's what silence does. It shifts the power dynamic. It turns the watcher into the watched. It puts you in a position of quiet dominance. Sun Tzu said, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak." That principle lives inside silence. It allows you to appear calm while your mind is calculating. It lets you observe quietly while others reveal too much. People who talk excessively drain their strength because they give away their plans, their emotions, their triggers. You, in your silence, remain unreadable. That's real power. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you stay silent after being wronged, you prove your maturity. You prove that no one can pull you into their chaos. You act from logic, not emotion. You don't give them what they want, your reaction. Silence lets you study the game before you make a move. It's how warriors think. They strike only when the time is right, not when they're provoked. The loud ones move recklessly, the silent ones move strategically. Silence gives you space to plan, to adapt, to act with precision. It keeps people guessing, and that uncertainty keeps them respectful. People fear what they can't predict because unpredictability equals power. When you are silent, you are a mystery, and mystery always demands attention. You don't beg for respect. It comes naturally because silence makes people cautious around you. They realize you can't be manipulated, persuaded, or easily provoked. You've become a fortress, strong, calm, impenetrable. Every quiet moment becomes a shield protecting your peace, and a weapon that disarms arrogance. Silence makes you untouchable in a noisy world. You win not by shouting louder, but by speaking less and thinking more. Number 8, silence attracts respect without asking for it. Respect is not taken by force or demanded through words. It's earned through energy, consistency, and presence. When you stay silent, you project control, and that control commands respect. People listen differently when you finally speak after being silent, because your words now carry weight. They know you don't waste them. Silence builds a reputation of strength because it shows that you're not easily swayed by emotions or chaos. The ones who can remain calm in pressure earn the admiration of everyone watching. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Silence is that bravery in motion. It's the courage to hold your composure while the world loses its balance. When you speak only when it matters, people start to value what you say. They lean in, they notice, they listen. Your silence becomes your credibility. Loud voices may get attention, but silent discipline earns loyalty. People start respecting you because they can feel that your calmness isn't weakness, it's mastery. They begin to see that you don't react out of insecurity, you respond out of wisdom. Silence doesn't just demand respect, it attracts it naturally. It's magnetic because in a noisy world, calmness stands out. The person who can hold their peace holds the room. When others are arguing, gossiping, and explaining, your silence becomes a mirror showing their chaos. They start to realize they can't get under your skin, and that's when respect grows. You've shown them your boundaries without speaking a word. You've proven that you don't operate on impulse, but on understanding. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best answer to anger is silence." Every time you choose silence, you're not backing down, you're standing taller than the situation. People will start treating you differently. They'll choose their words carefully around you. They'll notice that your silence isn't emptiness, it's focus. You've turned restraint into authority. You've turned stillness into power. Real respect is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. It's felt. It's seen. It's undeniable. The one who doesn't react owns the moment. The one who doesn't explain owns themselves. That's who you are becoming. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My silence earns respect. Remember this. Your silence is not emptiness, it's presence. It's the mark of someone who has mastered their emotions, who no longer dances for approval or reacts to chaos. The world is loud, full of noise and drama, but you're calm, focused, and powerful. Every time you stay quiet when provoked, you're teaching people that your peace is priceless. You're showing them that you cannot be shaken, and that is where real respect is born. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your attention to." So from now on, give your attention to growth, peace, and strength. Let others waste time talking, you keep building. Let others seek attention, you keep improving. Silence is your armor, your clarity, your power. Protect it, practice it, Live it. And before you leave, I want you to write this affirmation in the comments. My silence commands respect. My peace is my power. I control myself completely. If this message spoke to you, hit subscribe, share this video, and keep walking your path with quiet strength. The world respects those who move in silence. Be that person.